What will you miss most when you leave this position?
I will miss working with, obviously, the staff and working with people in a way that's around trying to make their work lives better, help make them more productive if that's what they'd like to do. And I've often engaged with faculty members in problem-solving activities, which I enjoy doing. I also miss working with the other heads and the associate deans. It's a really cohesive, positive group that I think is really dedicated to making things better in the faculty.
Hey Bill, being a department head means that you have multiple roles that go from student to staff to faculty to associate to deans and the community. Multiple roles. In reflection, which is the single most critical and important role for a head to pay attention to?
For me, one of the most critical ones is how we manage the personnel decisions for faculty, because that's about their career futures and building progression and laddering in their careers, promotion and tenure. I think that how that's managed and working with the Department Standing Personnel Committee to ensure that the criteria are followed and nothing else is brought into the decision making is really, really important.
Any advice for future ECPS department heads?
Know that we have an energetic, engaged group of faculty members and staff and students who are committed very much to their cognate discipline areas. And yeah, I think that would be the first thing I would say, and to really be prepared to help them with that as you can, and remove impediments to them doing well with their work, I guess as an everyday activity.
What do you see in the future for ECPS?
The future of ECPS, I think, is going to be very interesting, and I think it will develop in a way that's probably slightly different than we have up to now. I think my mandate when I came in, what people were urging me to do, was to try to reduce conflict in the department and to bring about a greater sense of working together. I've tried to do that in a couple of ways. One, by promoting work within areas so that they could feel strong and supported, and also we do a lot of things together across areas. I think the discussions that we've had in response to the departmental review in terms of forming the 4 task forces which run across areas will already start to give a greater sense of the whole department to people than perhaps they've had up to now. And I would think in the future that sense of working across areas and maybe creating new areas that are hybrids of what we have now will be something that will be certainly part of our future, as well as, I would think, within that, more innovative and creative pairings or groupings of research initiatives within the department.
What do you feel was your greatest accomplishment in ECPS?
I think one of my accomplishments would have been having people feel more at home in the department, feeling more connected with their areas and with the department. And also, I really worked hard to build the infrastructure for research within the department, first by getting some money from Rob Tierney when he was dean to hire somebody half-time for 2 years, and then seeing that roll into increased infrastructure support for research within OGPR, which we now have. That's always been important, that if we're a research-intensive university, we need to support research, and that takes infrastructure. So I'm happy to see that that's evolved.
Bill, I've always wanted to know, what's the hardest part about being the head of ECPS?
That's an interesting question. I think sometimes, no, this is the hardest part, which is meeting with people whose work you respect, who you respect as individuals and professionals, and having to tell them something that you really know they're not going to want to hear. And that's difficult in the sense that you can kind of predict they're not going to want to hear it, and to try to do that in a way that I don't know, leaves them with their dignity and a sense that you support them, even though you have to deliver that message, is a challenge.
Bill, it's the end of an era. What's next for you?
What's next for me? I guess repatterning my work a bit, in the sense that I will now be able to focus when I'm on sabbatical on my research and on supervising my graduate students, on increasing my involvement with some of the international organizations where I sit on the board of directors or I'm a member. I've been struggling the last little bit to be as involved with that as I would like, and I think that will be a really interesting new focus in my life, and I look forward to it.